Welcome back to another high-level match of StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a I'm starting to sing my intro again, man. From years of hello everyone, my name is Loka. And I was like, okay guys, I don't really want to do the sing-songy intro anymore. Now it's turning into StarCraft 2. Anyways, welcome back to another Best-of-3 series of Zerg versus Terran. Spotting right here in the top left-hand corner of Gresven, playing with the blue Zerg drones. We're looking inside of the main base of Dark. And his opponent in this game of StarCraft 2, playing here with the red Terran SCVs, we have none other than GuMiho. Alrighty, this particular series was recently played during the ESL StarCraft 2 Masters tournament, which is a premier tournament with $75,000 on the line. So because of that, I feel like that's worth noting. Because of that, we may very well see Dark playing the game a little bit cleaner. I've featured Dark quite a bit over the last couple years, but especially over the last few months. In some of the games, he looks really clean. In other games, he looks a little bit sloppy. If I were to make a guess, in this particular series, he's gonna look a little bit cleaner. That said, this is a best-of-3 series, and we find ourselves on Gresven. Now, as far as I remember, other than Solar, every single Zerg player in this tournament vetoed Gresven in a best-of-3. Basically, all of the Zergs, they would first veto Gresven, and then they would veto Neo-Humanity. Sometimes Neo-Humanity first, I guess, and then Gresven, but that's basically the two vetoes done for Zerg. The reason for that is quite straightforward. A lot of Terran players on this map enjoy playing the split map scenario where they take this as their natural for obvious reasons. It's, by the way, a command center first right here for Gumi. Double gas on the back of it, okay. Anyways, you take this as your first expo. This is gonna be your third base, and then rather than taking your fourth over there, or for example over here, you take it over in this area instead. And it turns out, when you wall yourself in over here, when you take your planetary over here, the amount of angles that Zerg can really attack you from is reduced to, yeah, I don't know. Zerg can't really attack you very well anywhere. So usually then, the bases here on the right side become available as well. They're relatively easy to acquire, and suddenly you are close to taking a split map scenario. Now, when it is a split map game, and I am mentioning all of this because this particular, well, replay, I haven't seen it, but it's a very long game. So, I think this is worth noting. Once it gets to a split map scenario, usually the way that Zerg wins is by mining out one of the bases that is normally considered to be the Terrans. So Zerg can't really trade very cost efficiently, unless your micro is incredibly good, and Dark does have that skill. But on this map, usually it comes down to these bases over here, and of course the mirrored ones as well at the bottom. And yeah, usually if the game goes the distance, Terran seems to be able to mine at least half of the map, and it's really difficult for Zerg to actually prevent that split map scenario. So because of that, long story short, everybody's been vetoing its map, but apparently Dark's like, nah, I'm too cool for that. So we'll see exactly what he's got in store for us. Obviously, GuMiho made it to the grand finals of this particular tournament, where he, well, I don't want to spoil it for you, but he ended up playing Serral. I've already casted that particular series too, in case you're interested. I'll go ahead and post a link to that series down below in the description of this video. Okay, long story short, we haven't seen a lot of ZVTs on this map lately. And I'm curious to see if maybe Dark has got something new that he's figured out, because this map does seem to be a little bit difficult for Zerg players to play. Interestingly enough, so there's a pretty quick roach warn, 3.5 minutes. Yeah, the few times we did see this map, so in a best-of-3 series, both players, since we have 7 maps in the map pool, both players get to veto 2 maps each. In a best-of-5, you have to choose, do I veto Neo-Humanity, or do I veto Gresven? Oftentimes when one of those 2 maps did make it into a best-of-5, Zerg would just straight up cheese. So I wonder if that's something that Dark is going to do as well. We did decide to go for the metabolic boost, but with the roach warn at about 3.5 minutes and now double gas taken in the natural as well, he's definitely planning on making a whole load of roaches. Yeah, he's gonna just make as many as he can possibly afford here. So it's gonna be 6 for the time being. Now with this opener, you can definitely do a link flood on the back of this too, but I really like this here from Gumi, yeah. Sniping one of these overlords is actually really sweet. It essentially prevents Dark right now from going for a complete all-in. Maybe actually Gumi doesn't mind that so much though. I mean, he is gonna finish up Stimpack right around the time that Zerg is gonna get across the map, but he doesn't have the best army to deal with this sort of attack. Anyways, now I guess the roaches, I mean, they're still going across the map, but we may very well need a few of them defensively. GuMiho is still running around, just sniping overlords, by the way. Apparently he's doing a little bit of an overlord clearing. He doesn't know what he's playing against. He has no clue. He's just seen his opponent's third base and that's it. So how good is this crisis management going to be? Well, now he sees a roach. That is not supposed to be here, man. That goes for any roaches. Also, when you see them in the basement or maybe in your living room or whatever, those roaches, they're not supposed to be there. Get your spray out, maybe get your broom out, whatever you need, okay? You need to make sure that those units disappear. This is kind of scary. Okay, the overlord's still not out of trouble. We're just gonna stim into the main base, whereas Zerg is busy fighting here at the front. There's a siege tank right now on the high ground. Okay, 6 drones have gone down. Good decision making here actually from GuMiho though. Like, he's losing a bunch of supply depots, which does suck. But yeah, with 2 siege tanks here, I don't really see exactly how Terran's gonna take critical amounts of damage. He's now gonna stim and pull the boys as well, killing as many ravages as possible. Yeah, I think you go back to mining right now. Okay. So this little counterattack with the medevac drop actually works out lovely for Gumi. In the end though, the supply depot losses were significant, yeah. That's one of those things that you don't normally pay attention to, but GuMiho ended up hitting a supply block that lasted for about 7 minutes. Now he's also overmaking, okay, give or take 7 minutes. He's now also overmaking additional depots. With that command center finishing up, he's got plenty of supply to work with. So maybe GuMiho is now getting a little carried away and he's actually accidentally shooting himself in the foot here. I think he actually should be at a slight advantage now, but because of all of those depot problems, I actually now consider this to be an advantage right now for Dark. Dark is very good at chaotic games, right? We've seen him play these sort of strategies time and time again. And in this particular case, well, he's in a comfortable spot. He's got himself that third base done. He's gonna go for the 4th hatch. So Zerg usually opts for this one over here rather than for the center base. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're gonna go for the sledgehammer attack. Maybe. 66 workers, mass roach ravager. Definitely a scary attack. Go for these units and send them towards the other side of the map right when these 3 upgrades finish up. Question is though, how many siege tanks is Gumi gonna have at that point in time? Look at the positioning over here. We've already got 4 of them covering some very good spots. Initially, when this map was first introduced, we saw it a lot. We saw it played all the time. And it's difficult for, yeah, Terran players to figure out exactly where they need to actually put down their siege tanks. Like, for example, this seems like a bit of a finicky position. It almost looks like Biles over here would kill both of them, as cursed as that could be. But anyways, Terrans have figured out how to position their units perfectly to get as much value out of them in these situations. So luckily here for Dark, he did split up his units, so this drop should not be able to get the kill. But a few drones, yeah, still end up going down. Not bad. Okay, yeah, so he's not gonna go for the sledgehammer attack. Not for one, well, maybe he's gonna test the waters a little bit, but not for a 1-1 roach speed all in. Instead, we're gonna just use this as a stepping stone. So that does mean that we are gonna be playing a bit of a longer game. Bailing Nest coming up right now. Infestation Pit is done, so we'll probably see a hive here momentarily. And obviously that allows him to go into infestors. It allows him to go into, well, lurkers if he wants to. Maybe a couple vipers. Not a bad call at all. There they are. GuMiho now the one who goes for a bit of an attack. He's bringing essentially everything that he's got. Yeah, so all of the siege tanks are now unsieged. We're remaking that wall here at the front as well. We'll probably be rallying all of our units here. Yeah, straight towards this entrance usually is where you put it. A lot of good creep spread here from Dark though. Is going to slow down the advancement here of that Terran army. And he's going to need it as well. These infestors are going to spawn in a moment, but they don't have the pathogen glands upgrade, so they don't actually spawn with enough energy for a fungal growth. Drop over here on the left side of the map, still being a nuisance. Still grabbing whatever they can. Lovely work. So I'm fully expecting a 4th base right now. There it is, okay. Man, thank you for making me look smart, Gumi. I appreciate that. Usually the 4th base will fly on over there, turn into a planetary fortress, and that's where Terrans are like, okay, sitting back, putting my feet up. It is time to turtle, baby. That's what most of the Terra players do. I don't know exactly what Mr. Gumi ends up doing here, but if I were a betting man, that's where I'd be putting my money. Okay, a couple Ravagers apparently have died. Some corrosive balls here did connect with a siege tank, it looks like. In the end though, GuMiho doesn't really need to deal a lot of damage. I get nervous watching Dark play this, honestly. Like, I know where this game is gonna go if he continues it in the way that he's been continuing it so far. And it's gonna get to a full split map scenario. He's got himself the Hive done. +2/+1 here is gonna finish up. Adrenal Glands. We're gonna go Lingbane Ultra with Ravager, Queen, Infestor support. Which sounds questionable, to say the least. These drops here, by the way, are really allowing GuMiho a lot of time, right? Which is really nice to see. Just trying his very best to, yeah, survive. Planetary will be set up very shortly. Now, the nice thing about 4-base economy for Terran... Yep, there we go. The nice thing about 4-base economy for Terran is that you can explode with the barracks production and you can go into, of course, the Ghost Academy. And the Ghost Academy is the main pivot that you're looking for as a Terran player. Once you get the Ghost out, life is much better. GuMiho, by the way, I thought he was gonna go for an attack, but apparently the main base is not what he's, gonna use anymore. The entire map is now his main base, okay? He's just positioning his entire army in the middle of the map, fighting off creep fungal growth. Okay, from the high ground, that's cute. Still a lot of tanks available, though. Good splits right here from Gumi. Excellent control there, although he does walk into a bile there. He's trying to chase down these units. Now that was a banger of a fungal. My god, that's hot. Sorry, I'm gonna just replay that moment again. Okay, well, I'll replay it again, but then in slow motion. That's gonna be for my Zerg fans out there. That includes myself. Here's the game on lower than normal speed. Here it comes. And the Baneling. You're welcome. You're welcome. If you enjoyed that, hit like. If you didn't enjoy it, also hit the like button. Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, Ultra coming up. Chitinous plating coming up. It was a trick question. You didn't know. Yeah, you didn't know it was going to come. It's all right. Ultra's coming up right now. Can Dark retaliate, right? So he's got a banger of a unit composition right now. It's not really something that's going to carry him into the late game very well, but it can, of course, deal a lot of damage here until Terran is at their late game army as well. So for now, we don't have a Ghost Academy yet. I do think we're going to be seeing, well, one very soon. I would also like to see a Wolof over here, actually. Normally a bunch of depots in this area, siege tanks behind it, bada bing, bada boom, life's good. There's the Ghost Academy. +3 has been fired up here too. And these command centers here on the right side become very accessible here. Now we once again have a fight in the middle of the map. My god, GuMiho is just taking the entire map as his base. I'm a little surprised by that, to be honest. He really doesn't need to be sitting out here. I guess the trades aren't terrible for him, though. But yeah, Zerg is going to be able to eventually push all of this back. A very complex unit composition once again here from Dark. Sometimes I wonder if he makes the unit compositions a little bit too complex. Because in theory, I mean, it's a skill issue, right? In theory. But in a realistic game, if 488 actions per minute are not enough to reliably micro everything... yeah, might be a moment where maybe simplifying the unit comp a little bit is the right call. So now that he's gotten rid of most of his Roaches and Ravagers since they died, yeah, we're replacing them with just Ultra Lingbane with some Infestors and Vipers for support. Fair enough. I'm expecting to see GuMiho go for some Ghost production here very soon. He has seen Ultras, he has seen Vipers, he has seen Infestors. Maybe he hasn't seen the Infestors, but he certainly felt them. Ghosts are good against all of that. Parasitic bombs here on the Medivacs. You love to see it. We're gonna play a little bit of basketball as well. Lovely play here. Dark looking like such a monster. The reason though why those balls connected is because, well, GuMiho was focusing his attention right here down south. Planetary Fortress on the right side of the map also coming up. And usually this about would be the moment where Terran's like, Command Center, Command Center, Command Center. Command Center, Command Center, Missile Turn, Command Center. They just make 100 Command Centers here. Now, one key characteristic of turtling on this map is planetaries and choke points. So I have seen planetaries over here. I've seen planetaries over here, basically connecting on this ramp. I've seen a double planetary over here, planetary over here. I've even seen a planetary in the main base in case of a Nidus Worm. And I guess against somebody like Dark, a Nidus Worm would certainly not be uncommon. Instead, what he's decided to do for now is make a whole bunch of Overlords. So we have 7 drop alerts here coming up, but already the missile turret, ring here in the main base is growing. A concave of missile turrets. We even have Marines waiting. This could actually be a disaster right here for Dark if he ends up losing all of these units. Nidus Worm on the back of it too. Infestation Pit coming up. Okay. Yeah, so this is the command center explosion. Or as they say in France, du command center explosion. No, actually, there's no clem in this game, so I guess that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. People have been making fun of my French pronunciation in the comment section, and I'm very offended. Sacre bleu. That's all I can say. Dommage. I'm very dommage, but okay, now here we go. Zerg going for an attack. Parasitic Bomb once again. Snipes on the Vipers, though, are gonna eliminate them very quickly. We're gonna need to see a couple more snipes, I believe, on the Ultra list. There we go. At the same time, there is a drop in the main base. Nidus Worm does get popped down as well, but it looks like this has been deflected wonderfully by Gumi, who really is looking like a monster lately, man. He is on point in these games. I'd love to see it. Okay. Yeah, so GuMiho has got himself a stellar economy now. He's going for the lovely little drop here as well. Bit of a YOLO medevac. He's going for a just a late game Terran army right now, right? So he's trying to add on more and more mechanical units. Now, a lot of Terran players will be transitioning towards mech. So Ghost Mech seems to be the ultimate goal for Terran. I'm curious to see if that's what we're gonna see here as well from Gumi, or if he's decided to go into Liberator play instead. For now, it's mostly just that mid-game-ish army with, like, you know, a bunch of ghosts in the mix, so a bit of a pivot. There's the planetary I was talking about, by the way. Super annoying for the Zerg to have to deal with. I wonder if maybe that's something that Dark can overwhelm. Now, what Dark is very cleverly doing is stealing one of these bases of, well, the Terran early. It's not an easy one for the Zerg to mine out, though. But if this is a base that Dark can mine out, I actually really favor this match here for Dark. But, I mean, we're at least 10 minutes away from that. This is not something you can fight, can you? I mean, we can try, I guess, as Zerg, but I've got a feeling that that planetary, yeah, look at the position here. That was beautifully done by GuMiho. Like, I don't want to second guess Dark whenever he makes those decisions, because Dark is one of the very best players in the world, but that fight was an absolute disaster for Zerg, and that was my gut instinct. Look at the planetary, 22 kills. I have done similar moves in my own games too, and it never works for me, so I was ready to be inspired by Dark, and then I, well, see Dark's army absolutely plummet. Tactical nuke on the production tab right now as well for GuMiho. We're gonna go for an orbital command over here. We're gonna have to scan and get rid of that Zergling, but Dark is going up against the Terran, who's got all control here. Okay, other than on those Marines, he's got all control. I'm a little surprised, yeah, we're gonna go into that Liberator style. I'm a little surprised we haven't seen a mech transition, or at least somewhat of a mech transition yet. Liberators with range, they're also a very, very good unit to add to this army. They supplement this unit composition so nicely. We're gonna go for some infestors. Very dangerous, of course. We should see static defense in this area too. As long as this is a split map scenario, GuMiho is gonna feel great about himself. As long as he can force this to be a split map. Yep, here's all the missile turrets coming up. That's gonna be detection. As long as he can mine out, like if you draw like a line from here to there, if he can mine out all the bases on the right side, he's gonna feel good. Here comes Zerg once again. Parasitic Bomb, Blinding Clouds, the whole shebang. There we go. Fungal Growth. He's backing up right here to the safety of the planetary fortress. A lot of the tanks here are not sieged up, but I mean, those missile turrets are helping out, man. The missile turret guy never scared. Look at him sitting there on with his helmet. Hatchery in the meantime, by the way, at the bottom of the map was destroyed. Good fungal growths here by Dark, but he's making very little headway here. Yeah, excellent work here by GuMiho. Like, you can see that trades-wise, and this is why Terrans usually win the late game, if it is a split map scenario, trades-wise, Zerg is just simply not gonna get the same efficiency. Is this what I think it is? I think we're gonna be seeing a tactical nuke. Phew. Shout out to the cameraman, which is me. Shout out to LowkoTV. It's a Roman numeral, guys. You thought it was LowkoTV? No. It's a Roman numeral. It's actually LowkoTV. Anyways. Hatchery over here at the top of the map also in a little bit of trouble. Dark has got a lot of income, right? So 95 workers worth of income. He's got a lot of minerals. He's got a decent amount of gas. He's getting whatever he likes. So he's just shopping right now for any Zerg structure. Lurkers coming up. Brute Lord potential here. We're going for mass gases. We're going to retake bases. It's just that breaking a Terran on this particular map is incredibly hard. Now the Terrans, after about a half year, have perfected it. Okay. So, and this is the scary part. This is essentially, well, the base at the bottom also needs to be denied, but this is essentially a base that you can't really harass as a Zerg without going through all of these choke points. Double planetary, again, not something that would be uncommon in this area of the map. A lot of Zerg players at this point in the game, they favor playing Brute Lords. So Brute Lord, Infestor, Viper, Corruptor, Ling Bane, that sort of unit composition is incredibly strong. But the problem with Brute Lords is that 10 Brutes do very little. Usually, you can expect at least, I want to say, at least 30 Brute Lords. 30 Brute Lords can be incredibly good. We even had a EMP right there going off in the middle of all of that. Okay. One problem you run into, though, if you're transitioning towards Brute Lords, is that Terran will usually take that as an opportunity to transition towards Thors. And Thor Ghost, especially with like Blue Flame Hellbat support, just, I don't know. I'm a little lost as far as late game Zerg goes. I really don't know how you would play it. But maybe Dark can figure something out here. So far, he also honestly seems a little lost. He's going for a bit of everything. He's got a lot of money in the bank. He can make whatever army he likes, but he's just switching army every single time, right? So because he's switching army so often, you'd imagine that Terran also has to adjust, but that's not really the case, because these ghosts are good against Vipers, Infestors, Lurkers, Brute Lord, Ultra. They're good against like basically all of the late game Zerg units, so it becomes, yeah, kind of difficult for Zerg to get this all going. So that hatchery here at the top of the screen did go down. Planetary Fortress here is acquired. Now at this point, GuMiho doesn't even really need that base yet because he doesn't have enough SCVs to mine out those mineral fields. So instead he's gonna try and just shark around the map right now and take out as many of those bases as possible. Again, forcing the split map is the last on Dark's mind. That's not what he wants to have at all. Okay, now this is an excellent cleanup right here. No planetary fortress in this location, which is very surprising. This planetary fortress may very well go down as well, and this is an excellent... Oh, even Banelings get sniped now. Okay, I like that a lot. Pew, 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 pew. Maybe a couple mules there to repair all of that up. In the meantime, we do have that Terran army pushing down south as well. Orbital commands were lifted. Can we drop a mule? Oh, there's already an SCV behind it, repairing that planetary fortress and preventing it from burning. Now the Brute Lord transition is underway. Queen, Brute Lord, and Fester. Terran in the meantime, though. I mean, he did lose a lot of SCVs, but at this point, we're also in a point in the game where... Maybe not quite yet, but we need to mine a little bit more. We're not quite yet at the point where we can start giving up SCVs. Yeah, I actually don't mind seeing GuMiho remake a bunch of those units. He's got a lot of mule potential, but now suddenly Dark has whipped out the Brute Lords. Dark is so strong when it comes to those tech transitions. That planetary fortress is powerful, but it can't shoot up. Careful though, here come the ghosts. Okay. Cloak has been activated. EMP would be pretty good. Fungal growth for now is gonna prevent those ghosts from getting their damage in. So it's a channeled ability. If those ghosts take any damage in the meantime, the ability will be cancelled. GuMiho going for a counterattack though. Lovely work. Brute Lords are of course strong, but they're difficult to reposition, so there's not really a way for Zerg to easily get those units back home. The Queens at the very least can pop out on the other side of the map once again. Siege tank, siege up. Liberators moving forward too. Now the Thors are coming up as well. And Thors, especially when they are switched over to their other mode, their high impact mode, they can deal a lot of damage to those to those Brute Lords rather from a distance. Excellent movement right here by Gumi. I don't think that scan was quite ideal because he ended up dealing some friendly fire to his ghosts and to his Thors and whatnot, but... Okay. Here comes Dark. He wants to grab this army on the retreat. Good pushback right there by GuMiho. Getting rid of some of the creep, taking care of some of those hatcheries, and again, preventing Zerg from mining out one of his bases. Blue Flame coming up. Thors on the production tab. Liberator Zone is gonna be increased with its range here very soon because the Fusion Core is now coming up as well. So Dark's army has been maxed out for quite a bit. GuMiho is still at like a stepping stone for his late game, if that makes any sense. So he's been playing a late game-esque sort of Terran army, but he can become more powerful from here. Some Terran players debate whether or not it's actually a good idea to, after like this mass Ghost Mech army, to transition towards full Battlecruiser. I don't think that's actually an improvement, but it is certainly something that GuMiho has messed around with. Yeah, so Thors have 2 modes that they can be in. Thank you so much for showing me that, GuMiho. Oh my god, you're making me look real good today, Gumi. Appreciate you. That is the mode you want them in when you're fighting Brute Lords, because this gives them additional range, and now they suddenly pop those single target units very nicely. In the other mode, they deal splash damage, but of course, against Mutas and whatnot, that may be nice. Against Brute Lords, you prefer the extra range and the single target damage. Smart Servo is coming up as well. That allows you to switch between those modes a little bit quicker. Same for the Hellions and the Hellbats. Morphing in between those modes. Second Spire? We've had 1 Spire, yes. What about second Spire? Alright, we're gonna go double upgrades here. And this is becoming scary now for the Zerg, right? I mean, it's been scary the entire game long. I'm sitting here wondering how in the world Dark's ever going to be able to win this. And I am not sure that I know how. Taking one of those bases from the Terran is the key, though. If you can mine out one of their bases, it almost doesn't matter how cost inefficient you're trading. As long as you can mine out one of their bases, obviously those minerals will be gone permanently. It means that you just have mined 1, or actually I guess 2 entire extra bases on the opponent, which is massive. GuMiho may be allowing that base at the bottom. This base has already been nibbled by those drones for a while. So good movement right there by Dark to decide to go for that base down south, yeah. It's gonna be GuMiho will now mine out this base for the Zerg. One thing to note is that these Vespene geysers have barely been touched. So they start with 2250 gas in them in total. And there's been a little bit of mining on one of them, but for the most part the gas is still fully available. Dark did make the hatchery over here again for some reason. I'm not exactly sure as to why. He lost that hatch earlier, but apparently decided to remake it. Okay, Planetary Fortress coming up once again. The Brute Lord count is at 12 right now. I actually don't think 12 is enough. Yeah, no, this Terran army is gonna destroy Brute Lords. A little bit of a cheeky Link counterattack. I really don't think there should be an orbital here. I think a Planetary Fortress is the obvious call. But anyways. Could still make a Planetary Fortress if we want to. A lot of very vulnerable siege tanks here. So this is kind of cool though. We've seen this now a bunch of times. GuMiho is treating his ghosts inside of the medevac like Protosses sometimes treat their High Templar in a war prism. So I think he's dropping them off to try and deal some damage, right? That's kind of sick. It's difficult for the Zerg to see that coming. Fungal Growth certainly is not going to shut that down. Very cute little play. Anyways, big Zerg infestation right now inside of the natural and the main base of the Terran player. We've got a Nidus Worm here too. A cheeky little burrow right next to it. I don't know if that's ideal, I was gonna say. Still cute, I suppose. He decides to get on out of there. This is a lot of losses for the Terran, but the cost efficiency here is not to be denied. 15,000 minerals more lost right now by the Zerg. And sure, he's had more mining, but Terran's maxed out and he's got orbital commands for days. He really should put a little bit more focus on, I think, mule mining. Anyways, here's the moment where apparently Dark, oh, there it is gonna have to deal with the Ghost Drop. A Ghost Drop is not something we normally see, but I love it. That's really cute. Don't think that was the best execution we could have had. In the meantime, though, the ghosts on the ground that were already on the ground, they ended up sniping some very expensive Zerg units. 10 infestors right now on the production tab, by the way, so neural parasites are certainly going to be in the back of Dark's mind. He's going to need a lot more energy for that. The Brute Lords trying their very best. We're now at 19 of them, which is pretty sick. As long as the Brutelings can force those Thors to, well, not advance, life's pretty great. He really needs to switch over these Thor modes, though. Those Thors are not in the right mode. Queen's trying to transfuse as many of those Brute Lords as possible. Infestors have been EMP'd. There's the correct mode. And now the Thors are starting to pick up a bunch of those Brute Lords in the back. But I actually think this fight has been kind of inefficient for GuMiho. Mostly because those Thors, they showed up rather late. The micro wasn't quite as good, and he was in the wrong mode there on those Thors for quite a while as well. Excellent micro, of course, here by Dark. And that may actually just... well... I was gonna say give him a significant advantage. And then I looked at the amount of money at the bottom of the screen. GuMiho is forced back into Marines right now. He really should get the gases going at this base. Maybe drop a big round of mules over here. How many orbitals is he on? He's got 6. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing some more mule mining. There's 3,000 minerals worth right now here for Dark. But maybe more importantly, Dark is mining out this base. And it's gonna take a while here for GuMiho to actually remake his army. So this base over here at the bottom, I actually really believe the drones should run on over here and try to mine out this expansion as fast as possible. Because once those minerals are gone, they are gone. Obviously, Terran can't remake them again. Alright. GuMiho once again maxed out. Little bit of creep denying. Hellion run by over here as well. When they turn into Hellbats, maybe they can kill some structures. Yeah, a lot of expensive tech over here. Actually really strong. Like, most of the anti-ground right now for Zerg is in Brute Lords. Yeah, Zerglings aren't gonna clean this up. That's the Greater Spire gone. Lovely play here from the Gumi God. Planetary Fortress here. Okay. Slowly running out of juice. I really think those gases should be taken, but anyways. GuMiho is sitting at 3,600 minerals right now on 100 gas. Why is he... why? Gumi, no! Here's once again the the Ghost drop. Very interesting play. Yeah, cute. Really cute for sure. GuMiho going for late game Ghost drops. This expansion, though. It now means that Dark has got about half of the minerals over here. And now he's gonna, I think, mine out basically all of the minerals down here at the bottom as well. Is that enough? He just lost a lot of very expensive tech. Lovely play there by Gumi, by the way. He traded out a bunch of his minerals, so a bunch of his Hellions, for a lot of expensive tech structures there from the Zerg. The Greater Spire, Nidus Network. Really good to see those units gone right now. GuMiho has got minerals to trade for a while longer. Still no gases taken up here. I don't know. I understand there's a lot of things going on at this point, but... that's honestly the main limitation here. Another fight like the one we just saw, though, and I actually think Dark is gonna be in a really nice position. Yeah, here's another drop in the main base. Super annoying. GuMiho knowing exactly where to poke the bear, right? Where it hurts the most. Zerglings are now made again. Even the Hive may be in some trouble. I mean, maybe it's not gonna go down with this drop, but I wouldn't be surprised that there's gonna be a follow-up drop, although I'm gonna keep my camera over here at this fight at the bottom. How many ghosts do we still have? Just the 4 inside of the medevac. Don't lose that medevac. EMP is critical. EMP is absolutely critical in the late game of Terran versus Zerg. You need it to shut down Vipers as well as Infestors as well as Queens. And that's about half of the army that Zerg has right now. Even more Infestors are coming. The problem is if you don't have EMP, suddenly Neural Parasite, which allows those Infestors to temporarily force the Terran units to change side, it's gonna destroy you. Gotta be careful. +3 has been fired up as well. That was the only upgrade missing here for Dark. +3 also started up here for Gumi. Gumi apparently going through the choke point here. Where are the ghosts? There are the ghosts. Oh my god, I love the ghost drop. That's so cute. This base over here, by the way, absolutely demolished in a matter of seconds. Fungal growth, it does deal a bit of damage, and it is gonna finish off a few of those low HP liberators. I wouldn't say he's poning the libs, but he's dealing damage to them, that's for sure. Yeah, that Spore Crawler is poning the libs. Hell yeah. Alright. Liberators coming up in bigger and bigger numbers. Can we please mine these gases, Gumi? I think Gumi has just completely forgotten about them. I'm not sure where the miscommunication is right now. These gases are pivotal. Like, he's got 4,200 minerals in the bank and 300 gas. He must be wondering at this point why his gas income is not as big as it... I don't understand how he forgot about it, though. I understand there's a lot of things going on, but, like, when you think about StarCraft 2, right? You think about strategy, which is what these guys are thinking about all day, every day. This is one of the absolute necessities. Now, obviously, this is played in a very hectic situation. I believe this series was also played on the main stage. So that does mean that, you know, there's a lot of pressure on these guys as they are competing. It's very easy to mess it up. Oh, this is a bad feeling for Zerg. Not a misplay by the Terran. This is an indicator that GuMiho is saying, bro, I don't need these units anymore. I will give you my SCVs because I want to replace that lost supply with more army instead. A painful moment. At the same time, man, I love these Hellbat run-bys. So powerful. Yeah, they're just killing everything. Look. Another group of units going down. The only thing I don't like for GuMiho here, and it's an absolutely critical thing, are these gases at the top of the screen. He's got everything else going for him. But it does not allow him to produce enough ghosts right now. He, as a matter of fact, only has 5 ghosts. Which I really don't think is enough. I actually also don't think he's got enough Thors. He's trying to balance his mineral income, so he's got 13 Hellbats. But those Hellbats are not as important. You need a bunch of them to protect the Broodlings, right? So you want to make sure that the Broodlings are thrown over onto the Hellions and that the Hellions can roast them really quickly with their blue flame and their +3. You do definitely want a bunch of them. But you really want to replace this lost supply over here with not more Hellions. I really need to see some more ghosts on the production tab. I might be mistaken here, but it already feels like that would be the correct call. Okay, fungal growth is scary here against clumped up units. Vikings now also available in rather big numbers, okay. Okay, decent fungal growth. Parasitic bomb here as well. You do love to see that, although... I mean, oh, fungal growth over here on the back of this too, so you can't really split. Excellent wombo combo right there by Mr. Dark, who's lethal when it comes to controlling those late-game spellcasters. Take him! No? Okay. Then don't, I guess. Yeah, he's forcing himself into Hellions and Marines right now because he doesn't have the gas. I just don't think that's the unit you actually want to be producing at this point, and you really don't need to be producing it at this point either. Dark has got a lot of gas still, so Dark can make, well, more Infestors if he wants to. Is there any unit here that he's got that I don't really agree with? So he's got about 20 Broodlords and about 20 Infestors, which is an interesting comp. It does mean that Vikings and whatnot do become very scary. We don't have a lot of Vipers anymore, so about 3 more Vipers I think would be excellent. Instead he decides to go 4 more Infestors. So just good old Broodlord Infestor again, huh? This is what we used to see in the early days of StarCraft 2, and apparently we're back to doing that once again. Couple of Banelings, trying their best. Now we're finally taking them, there you go. These are about 15 minutes late, literally. As long as he mines them out, though, that's all that really matters. So in the end, Dark has mined more than the opponent. Right? These minerals are likely gonna run out. Oh god. Is he gonna go for an attack right now? How many blue flame hellbats do we have here? Now we've only got a single one. That's actually not enough. Parasitic bomb, blinding cloud, very scary. Actually flies the Vikings in that. Ugh. This late game Terran control here does not give me as much confidence as Dark's control on his units. Yeah, he's waiting, man. Infestors can cast fungal growth when they're unburrowed. They cannot cast it while burrowed, but neural parasite can be used when the infestors are underground. More liberators coming up. Dark is inviting his opponent deeper onto the creep. Okay. Really should saturate that, but I guess we should have saturated that ages ago. Okay, fungal growth. Once again, nice EMP though. At least softening up some of those units. Oh. Dark is really scary in the late game, man. But I also don't think GuMiho is controlling this late game as well as is possible. Now the brutes are flying forward. Blinding cloud over there as well, denying some of those Thors in the front from firing. Now the Thors in the back are busy killing the little brutelings. Okay. Here come the infestors. Here come the infestors. Neural parasites are gonna be used right here by Dark. Fungal growth's dealing so much damage as well. Nice sniping though there by GuMiho, trying his very best to get rid of those infestors as quickly as possible. Some ghosts here in the front, okay, good EMP, removing the energy out of at least some of those infestors. Fungal growth, trying to slow down the advancement here of that Terran army. GuMiho is bleeding out. Yeah, GuMiho is bleeding out. Zerglings over here have denied those bases. Now finally that the gases are taken, he's run out of all of the gas that he had. Infestors have found an angle here on the right side, and despite the fact that GuMiho, I mean, I think he's been winning this game for the first 35 minutes of it, it's Dark who obtains the victory in game number 1. This is a best-of-3 series, by the way. Whew! Royal Blood, game number 2. I just messed up the scoreboard. There we go. All right. What are we going to do in this particular game? Okay. SCV, good to go, sir. Going straight across the map. Second SCV. Also joining the first. Now, of course, these guys are going to be pretty tired at this point, right? I actually really believe GuMiho should have won that previous game. I think he had all of the tools at his disposal. He just messed up some of the finer details. And Dark's late game, I mean, I've talked about it many times in the past, but Dark's late game, it's beautiful. Rob's Guns. I didn't realize there was a store over here. That's nice, maybe. If that's your thing. Anyways, double gateway over, or sorry, double Terran gateway, triple Terran gateway coming up right now as well. As GuMiho is gonna turn this second game into a complete all-in. Sadly for him, however, this is a pull into a hatchery, into a very quick gas geyser as well. And the spotting pool first, especially if Zerg spots this, is gonna be tremendous. Alrighty, there's the Zerglings. Just 2 of them here, coming up. Ooh, okay. That's a Roach Warren. This is a blind Roach Warren from Dark. So Dark also feeling a little tired after that previous game, maybe. He wants to end this series with a bang. So he's going for a Roach all-in, it seems. Whereas he's playing against somebody who's going for a Marine all-in. I'm inclined to imagine that this is significantly better for Dark. Bunker coming up right now. I mean, normally Zergs are defending this with Lings and drones and maybe a Queen or 2. But Roaches are not going to be too far behind this. Bunker is going to finish, though. Yeah, the thing is, Corrosive Bile outranges everything, so I wouldn't mind seeing that second gas taken. A little surprised we haven't seen it yet. Are we going to keep that base around? Okay, looks like we're not canceling the hatchery. Roach starts up over there, too. When you morph in a roach into, or you morph a roach into a Ravager, if it's a low HP roach, it does spawn again with full hit points, which is something that can definitely be important here. The Zerglings have been forced with a counterattack. A couple Marines are tasked as well, and now he sees the roaches. This is the first time he sees the roaches. Okay, oh, we're just gonna run by it. Oh, okay. That's kind of cute. Yeah, trying to keep all of this alive. Dark doesn't actually have that much gas. There's a lot of micro going on, though. Did those Zerglings go down? Yeah, the Zerglings did fall eventually. But the barracks have already been flying back home for a little while. GuMiho wants to see if he can kill that base. Actually, getting that base would be really good for him. I just don't see how that's going to happen. Once again, nice popping in that bunker. But I've got a feeling that this has been shut down pretty hard. The hatchery's still around, but I just don't see how that's going to be able to finish off. Yeah, there's a couple of Marines. I mean, it's 300 hit points, or 230 hit points here. It's not that much, but it's enough. Honestly, any HP above 0 at this point would be good enough for Dark. He started droning. Now, there is an Overlord close by. And that Overlord is critical here. It's something he can use here for high ground vision. So roaches can attack towards the high ground as long as they have vision. There we go. Same for the Ravager. It needs vision for the corrosive bile. And that Overlord is providing exactly what he needs. Biling in between the structures as well to try and maximize the damage. Second gas has come up in the main base now. So Dark may very well be deciding to go for more Ravagers as he decides to actually push up the ramp. That seems a little bit aggressive. He just wants to target fire down as many SCVs as possible. He's just bypassing this once again. Bypassing bunkers. Seems to be the nature of Dark right here. Picking off as many units as possible. The majority, though, of those roaches are gonna go down. Here's the problem, though. The supply count is no longer lying here. Dark at 51 versus 30 supply. Obviously, there's no expansion here for GuMiho either. So he's got concussive shells, which is nice. A Stimpak coming up right now, but no Medivacs on the horizon. No expansion potential here either. This is going to be very difficult. Yeah, Dark just raining biles whenever he's got them available. Couple more depots going down certainly does not make things easier here for Gumi. Double kill. Oh, wrong button, wrong button. Double kill. Did I sound cool? Please tell me I sound cool. Smash like. Okay, no, sorry. I'm not very good at this YouTube thing. I've only been making... Actually, I recently passed my 4,000th YouTube video. That's pretty insane. Anyways, we do have a nice little fight here, but this is honestly desperate moves right here from Gumi. I mean, he's getting a decent trade. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't see how he can ever wiggle his way out of this, and neither can he. It's indeed Dark who obtains the victory 2-0 over Gumi.